How many can sustain that? So you cannot rule out the fact that it is an investment.
It is true what you're saying. It is an investment, but also let's not forget that it is by nature, it is the role of the man to woo the woman. You will not call this woman and go and sit at a bench somewhere and just watch birds fly day in, day out.
They will get tired of the birds.
They will get tired of the birds. So there has to be some form of investment, yeah? But it is a movement because of what men are experiencing. I can tell you, for example, accept a friend request today on Facebook of a beautiful lady and chat her to 2 days. By the third day, she will tell you, by the way, Nikonaka emergency, can you loan me 2,000? This is somebody who you do not know, you've never met.
Will you give the 5K to a stranger who just suddenly had a problem and they need to fix it urgently?
I asked before you shifted to James. Why should you be attracting people who have urgent problems? You know, it starts from there. If you attract the wrong things, you are bound to have funny experiences in those relationships.
Good evening. My name is Likuyani Eli. We are 3 minutes late into the program, but guess what? We are here and we are ready to roll. So you know what to do. Share, invite, and let's follow the conversation. Tonight, we continue with last week's topic on foolishly in love. So have you ever been in love and some things you do, you tend to wonder, what exactly am I doing? Some of these things can be done because men stop using their brains, or men simply don't want to think. That's why I have a gentleman in the discussion with me, Mwathi James. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Evening, Eli. How are you?
I'm great. Great to see you again.
Good to be here. As always, a pleasure.
Always a pleasure for sure. And have you been bright enough after we left the previous cast, or are you still foolishly in love?
This was quite a hot topic. It has been buzzing around all week. Looks like for us men, this is something that probably we are not used to discussing. So I think we still have the same questions. I don't know if we have answers, but the questions are many.
I am looking forward to having those questions coming in. Remember, the hashtag is Heart in Heart, responding to life, and you can follow this conversation on our YouTube page, rather on our YouTube channel. That is the Heart in Heart official. Mwathi James is a psychologist based in Nairobi, but tonight he comes in a different attire. He is only but a man. So let's find out what men want to say in the men's den. And before we do that, allow me to invite each and everyone in the comment section. I start with you, Sarah and Jonjo. Good evening, Gathe Wamatara Sako. Tina is not here tonight, but we are here to represent Tina because she's not a man by any chance. She's allowed us to view in as men. Thank you so much, Doreen Kasioka, Wycliffe, Dimore Gaddafi. Welcome to the show. Isat Juma, Victoria and Katha, as always, thank you so much for joining. Kipro Rod and Nancy Magan. Good evening, everybody. And let's get this started. So, James, before we came on, and I know people are asking, where is Gilbert? Gilbert will be joining us soon. He's just waiting for the moment that all of you will be waiting to make the grand entry. Then he'll be here. So hold in for him. James, you've seen a lot of buzz happening in the social media space, and men, for lack of a better word, have been under siege again because they have not been coming home with the correct gate pass. Let's start there and see how it goes.
Oh boy, this is complicated. What is the correct gate pass? This is complicated. Where do we draw the line between being a responsible man and being reckless and being in love and that's why I say there are so many questions. You see, Gilbert, it got too hot for him. He's still cooling off.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But I agree with you. There has been a lot of buzz, and without mentioning names, I think we've seen in the last week there is a lot of speculation on the role of a man versus the role of a woman, and to what point a man should extend his responsibilities. And even before you get to the responsibilities, what actually happens that a man finds himself in such complicated spaces or spheres? Yeah, because I think again, being very careful, the speculation on the case in the social media has been about a man who was already married, but then I think during social interactions or in the course of work meets another lady and goes on to father, I think, 2 children. And you ask yourself, I don't know, it becomes complicated, because do we say it's the man who is foolishly in love, or is it and I know the ladies will bash me, and that's why they love Makovere. Is it entrapment? I don't know, because this lady knows this guy is married. So where do we draw the line? Is it the man being foolishly in love?
I think if you want to bring that into the discussion, James, you'll be failing a lot, because over time, and this is the society we exist in, if we are not living in one, it has become apparent that having the ring on the finger, especially the 9th yard, doesn't really stop anything from happening, especially if you're a man. But let's find out the ladies' guy who is here tonight. Gilbert, good evening. What do you think? And welcome to the show.
Thank you, Eli. How are you doing, guys?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. I was running late, but thank you. I arrived safely.
Yeah.
To our viewers, thank you for tuning in. I want to join the discussion, but I don't know where you guys were. I would like to.
Well, we said before we even discuss about the foolishly in love kind of part 2 series of this episode, we want to find out from how it has been happening in the social media space. We know that now men are being obliged to come with a better gate pass. What do you make of that?
What do you mean better gate pass?
Well, apparently, if you cannot afford to pay the rent, at least come with something in the pocket and pay something up. Don't just come here with some strange snacks and claim to be a father.
The Kababa generation that always James talks about. We run away from responsibility, thinking that there is a better place we can find our solace, only to realize we are just worsening the situation. So here, I don't know whom to blame, because I was not party to the gimmicks, but what I will say is, as we always say, our society, we need to kind of shape up. These are the reality that is happening. These are things that have been happening since time immemorial. But simply because they were happening under the carpet, no one was talking about them. But I told you, social media came with its own advantage and disadvantage. Now there is nothing that is happening under the carpet again, that everything you do will come to light at its own time. So what you are seeing, we just need to adjust to it and see how to manage. From what I heard, you see, it was a serious arrangement until I'm hearing like I have arranged with my wife to be sending money to the other side. Meaning this is something we are accepting. Yeah, I have messed up, I stepped up, but what do? We take care of our responsibility. It's only that he might not have honored up the responsibility, but at least there was an arrangement. That is what I can infer from the whole situation. It was not that she was hidden. She's known. The kids are known. It's only that also during this corona time, man, things have gone haywire. We need to accept any burden you had taken earlier on because you had excess or surplus. This time is going to crunch on us, that the little we have, we now decide where to concentrate. That's why I told you, we run away thinking we are finding solace somewhere until we cannot be able to handle what we invited in. But to ladies, I'll tell you today, if you know he belongs to someone else, stay off. Run away. Because you carry the burden alone.
Ellie.
Yes.
I'm reliably informed that you get more sweeters when there is a ring on the finger than when there is no ring on the finger.
That's why Gilbert is alone. Yeah. That's why Gilbert is alone.
I'll love to agree with James what he's saying. Do you know why? Because they know there is no attachment until there are results. So the problem, we are never ready to handle the results, but we are ready to handle the journey. So why can't we be able to handle the journey and the results that comes with it? Because when one mouth adds in this equation, you realize, man, that's a budget plus on it. If you are living in a single room, you are moving into a double room, you are going to pay more rent. There are more responsibilities here. If you are coming in once per week, there will be no once per week. There is this other person who needs to grow up knowing I have a father or a mother somewhere. So you see, when the responsibility increases, or when there is introduction of responsibility, that is now when reality hits home. We stop living in fallacy of assuming this was just a game. It now becomes reality. So what we are not prepared is we are not prepared to handle the results that comes with the misfortune we go in knowing. So if you have a ring, they know. Hapa ni kukuja na kuenda. Because they are not sure. They don't want anything from you. They just want one of our viewers said the other day, we just want to enjoy and run away. In the course of running away, unategwa, unaanguka. Sasa ukianguka hapo sasa, hukutarajia kuanguka, now it becomes another thing.
Well, they were saying that unaingia, unatoka, then they got arrested. Just to throw in a little bit into that discussion, we are reliably informed that even there's some memes that came up, and I know there's some jokes that go too far, but what does it come to play when there are suspicions of identity of the offsprings that are inside this relationship? Would you say the man was too foolish to notice? Or because, James, you mentioned something to me about people that come to you and they are telling you, I don't trust what I'm having at home as my own lineage.
You see, the biggest problem with arrangements that are made under the table is that they will always be under the table and always be shrouded in mystery and a lot of mistrust. And you're right, Ellie. I encounter a lot of men, especially in this generation that we are in, who come into the practice and they're saying, I don't know, there's something, they have an intuition that I'm raising a child that is not mine. Or I'm starting to get this feeling like my wife might be having an extramarital affair. We are getting more of this. I don't know whether to agree with Makomere when he says it's the age of the social media, so things are coming out more clearly, or it's just that men have been asleep for too long, and then when they finally wake up, they find or they realize things are not as they seemed. But we're having more and more cases of even a few years ago, it was unheard of to do DNA testing. But nowadays, every other health facility has an extension or a facility where you can do a DNA testing. I think a few years ago, not more than 3, when we wanted to do DNA, we would send it to outside the country. But now, because of the mushrooming of these cases, and the surprising thing, it's men who are coming out to say, I think I'm raising somebody who is not mine. We are not seeing the reverse. We are not seeing women saying, my husband has another. I think they perfected the game. You know, before previously, it is the man who would be known to have offspring zuko inje. So the woman would always be complaining, "May I think my husband has another wife? I think he has another child." But now it's the men who are coming to say it. The child is not out there; it is in my house, and I'm the one raising this child. But I don't think it's mine. So it's a quagmire. It's something that we are seeing more. It's something that is causing a lot of distress. It's something that is causing, and if we want to look at that from another angle, a psychological angle, they even you might link it to the homicides that we see each and every other day. Yeah, a man wakes up and feels used, feels like he has been taken advantage of, has gotten into this depressive mood or state, and locks the house and torches it, and decides. Wanasemanga kufa dereva kufa makanga. Yeah, so it's worrying. It's a worrying trend. I can't deny that fact.
As we continue accepting that fact, let me just find out the lady's man what he thinks about the same. Gilbert always wants to be against everything we say as men. So, Gilbert, it's your time to shine.
No, my friend, I'm not always against everything you say. For your information, even the chairman of Men's Association got baptized the other day, and he accepted.
I saw that.
He has seen the light. He has seen the light.
So I've just seen the lies, only that I like remaining on factual points that exist. Today we'll say, as we go on, reality is, as I said, with the come of the social age, things are changing. Trends are coming in that we are not used to. We are getting new things that are new to us. And automatically, the human mind is made in a way that will want to experiment something that is not used to, even if they are told not to. So what happens here is ladies have, can I say they have, or it has always been, they have started doing now the things that are happening in the Western world. They live with you, James, but they don't want your offspring because what you offer on the plate is the best. But living with you, man, it's a heck. It's hell. They will not want their kids to resemble you. So they get what they want from what you're providing, but they look for offspring somewhere else. Not necessarily because of monetary terms. Some are just looking for faces and brains. They know the man I'm living with, as far as they have money. But I want smart kids. I want beautiful and handsome kids. What do? They go out to look for those kids. So you raise kids that are not yours in the house, but you not know. We just the other day they were talking about Kibiriti, how it dismantles the whole thing, genes and everything.
By the way, guys, what is this thing about Kibiriti?
You think someone can just wake up one day and come up with such a?
Maybe the ladies can inform us. I never got it.
No, we need someone who can do a trial on it. We'll pay for the experiment. The experiment is so expensive that it can harm someone, but if someone is willing, we can experiment. But of course, no one can just wake up and start saying such things. Experiments have been done.
So are you trying to tell me there could be some truth behind this Kibiriti stuff? And that's why sometimes we never notice what is happening behind our backs.
You wait for the truth. Go and experiment. You think someone
okay, fine. The three of us are here. The three of us are here. If there's any candidate willing, let's see who will accept the Kibiriti and the donor.
I'll pay.
But Ellie,
I'll pay for the experiment.
Ellie, I want to agree with a very important point that Gilbert raises, and it's because again I've started seeing it more and more, and it just hit my mind when he's talked about it. We are finding a caliber of women who are selecting, handpicking traits. Yeah. I want, this is my husband, but he's good in this one aspect, but I would want more intelligent children. So she looks at your lineage and decides these are dumb people. They are not bright enough to be my children's donor. Yeah. And looks outside and gets somebody who they think is intelligent, or for looks, or for. And I want to agree with Gilbert even more, because I think these are more westernized kind of thinking, and our women are getting there. Yeah. And unfortunately, again, this kababa, tumebaki tu tukikunywa huko kwa streets. As we are just drinking ourselves stupid. Women are, yeah, women are conspiring and engineering, and now they are modifying the kind of children that they want. And the saddest thing is, and I don't know whether this is where now the foolishly love falls, the saddest thing is, you as the man will provide and be the cheerleader because your child is always number one, and you are wowed, yeah, but you're raising somebody's child. You have bragging rights, but actually this child is not yours. I usually tell men, when I'm faced with this circumstance, I usually ask men, if you did a DNA test, for example, and you found that this child was not yours, what would change? And that is a very difficult question.
Gilbert, what will change? Because for myself, I don't think nothing will change, especially if this is a child that you've come to accept to be yours. And that can vary depending on situations. But if that was to happen, then what would be your take on that, Gilbert?
Everything about it will change. You accepted the child knowing biologically they're your kids. But when now you are informed that these are not your kids, first of all, the information alone will take you down, because you start imagining, how did it happen? You start blaming the other side and blaming yourself. And in these instances, you'll always see the child as a result of the blame you'll come up with. So naturally, as a human being, there is some hate that will be developed. Leave alone you. What about that child who will be informed? Like you see, like the case of Diamond and the dad, and so the mother just comes up the other day and say, no, even Mzee knows this kid is not his. And guys are like, wow, we didn't imagine that. So it comes out, okay, so that's why the guy is doing so. Even to the kid, they'll be affected equally to you, because now you are living with someone now who, by the time you're looking at him or her, you're like, oh God, what happens here? And then there is always the fear of unknown. What will happen in future? How is this kid looking at you? How is this kid looking at the two of you? Now you start living in uncertainty, and that is what finishes many people. Even if you go to, that is where trust goes. If even you trusted someone like 101%, it goes to zero. You will never trust. However much you go to trust classes and trust is pumped into your head, it will never stick. You will never trust when you get such a revelation. You will lie to yourself. Yeah, I will accept this is the kid I've seen, I've known, I've raised, I've provided for. Nothing will change. But what happened? What brought this kid?
Why should it be a problem, Gilbert? Why should it be a problem if the case scenario is the man? I mean, is the woman? But because in sometimes you find that it could equally be a man that is actually sired a child out there, and then it is supposed to be, understandable and okay. But when it's the woman, then it becomes a matter of it's a heartache, nothing but a headache. You start being a Rod Stewart here.
That is how our society has made us to believe, but that's not the truth. You think that woman sits there comfortably trusting you that, okay, it happened, let's see what we'll do. Man, they might be plotting a comeback. And that comeback might not be an easy one to handle. Women are smart. They manage to convince us from time immemorial. If they convince Adam, who are you? They are
Son of
smart.
Adam.
You might be seated there thinking that someone forgave you and you continue doing your nonsense. They have a big heart to handle everything. And they might be smiling at you when they want to break your neck. And you might not know. But always know, when such a thing happens, a comeback is always on the way. When is always the problem.
Well, I want to talk about when, how, and why.
Probably
And,
before Ellie, before we take the break, I want to comment on something that Gilbert has tried to explain and add some little bit. The sense of betrayal, yeah. And that's where I was saying when a couple or when a man comes to my practice and asks such questions, it is because there is a sense of betrayal. And if they were to go ahead and do the DNA, and it came out that whoever they are raising is not their biological child, that man, even though he has raised that child for 20 years, is completely shattered. And they might, at face value, say that, yes, okay, it's okay. Our father is in raising, not the siring, all those nice things we tell ourselves. But deep down, this man is shattered. Remember, the male ego is very fragile. We might look very macho and strong-willed, but the male ego is very fragile. And if the easiest way to hurt a man is through his ego. You ask on the flip side, why as a society we accept, or it looks more acceptable when the man has sired outside. Remember, the conversation that we've just had, this child is not outside. It is in the house, and the man is raising them up as they're believing it's their own child. That is different from when a woman knows my husband sired a child and that child is with another woman somewhere. Those are two different, totally different scenarios. Yeah, there is more a sense of betrayal and a sense of demeaning, a sense of disrespect. It comes with a combination of a whole lot of things. And again, to agree with Gilbert, even for women, when the man sires outside and even is open about it, the woman will smile, but women are conniving. They will plan and plot for years, and they will cook for you every day and wash your feet, but the comeback inaweza kuwa moto.
Yeah.
Well, the comeback in Azakua Moto, this is getting even more interesting than I thought, because gentlemen have decided leo ni kumoto moto. So let's join the conversation, guys. I mean, this is a great conversation. I want to engage everybody that is there. Let us know what you think about the topic of discussion tonight, which is Foolishly in Love Part 2. We started with Part 1 last week, and if you missed out, you better head back to YouTube and Facebook and find out what we talked about. So let me go back all the way to Vero Suzanne, who says, Ellie, you don't know about these things. And they say it's not true about the Kiberiti thing. So at least we don't have to prove it. Unfortunately, Gilbert, your money will not be spent. So it's okay. Let's move to Gaddafi, who says, from the looks of things, I'm not going to marry because I don't know when I'll be raising someone's child. Never. He says. Kipro, on the other hand, says, are you trying to say intelligence is inherited? I beg to differ. Predisposed, you will say. Njakita says, trust will be broken. That is based on what Gilbert was presenting. And then we have Polly Young Ekarimbo says, okay, you're welcome to the show. We will see what we can do about that. So, Gilbert and James.
Quick response. Quick response. Gaddafi, who says never?
He will never marry.
That says that it's only the mother of a child who knows who the real father is. It is very easy for you to raise somebody else's child. In fact, those of us who say I can never, how do we ingia kwa hiyo mtego? So never say never. Never say die. it's for that one, for the lady who asks about intelligence and being inherited, yes, it's a genetic pool, it's genes, it's all those. So it is, yes, it is inherited.
Cushion
Gilbert?
James. I hope you're not giving them permission to now go do it.
No, I was just responding. Point of knowledge.
Now that you have alleged, let me say you have alleged that it's inherited. Yeah, it's dependent on genetic factors and environment, of course. So, ladies, I told you earlier, ladies are smart. Before they go out to do something, they do their research. Unfortunately, men, we don't do our research. We are blinded by eyes. Someone who is blinded by heart know very well you have to please their eyes, their ears, their smell, and their mind before you reach their heart. But someone who is blinded by their eyes, nothing else, you just need to please their eyes. Even if you dress a blog in good clothes and turn it back, men will be pleased by their eyes until they realize this is a blog, it's not a human being. So you have to know that early. That's where we go wrong. And the Kababa generation that James always talks about, man, we are sleeping on job. We are sleeping on job. We have taken solace into things that we seemingly term them social to us. They bring comfort. They make us feel men, but we forget our roles as men. We take ourselves out more than we are in to discover what is happening. Ask yourself, at what time are these ladies getting these kids? Where are the men? Where are you, Ellie? When your wife is planning until she's getting a kid, where are you?
I was looking for money.
Yeah, we have taken money to be more important than the family structure. So we look for money, we get money, and then this money buries us. What is the need? Look for it as you spend with the people who matter to you, so that when you die, you are left with something small to help you have a send-off. But what's the need? You look for a lot of it. You come, you get sick. Like here in the US, they'll say most of the time you incur your cost is in your end times, like the 3-4 the last years, because money is on card, on bills and everything, hospital bills. But when you are young, you look for it a lot. So here, most people will work up to 50. They amass, and then from 50, they start exploring. So that when they cannot move, when they come down, they have money, they have insurances to pay for their medical bill as they wait to die. But for us Africans, we work so hard until we don't have time to spend it. When we realize we are late on spending it, we are very old. And that's why you'll get 70-year-old, 80-year-old wazes looking for 25 years old and 20 years old, because that time it passed them. They are realizing when they are late. And what they don't get it, they drive themselves to the grave very fast. And that's why in Africa, if you find someone who is a centenarian, that is 100+ years, it's a celebration. You have to study their life, and you realize one thing: they planned, they worked, they enjoyed, they are waiting to die.
So they were not so foolish anyway.
They were not so foolish.
Okay, fine. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, let's see what we have in store for you. My name is Likuyani Eli, hanging out with James and Gilbert on the Men's Den. In a moment.
I was lighting.
the wife was waiting for me, and it's a friend of mine. She's also from campus. We're all in the same campus doing different courses. She was waiting for me, and all she did, she just asked, "Hi." And I said, "Hi." And she just hugged me for like 5 minutes. At that point, I'm like, am I making this up? Is this thing for real? Am I? So I sleep. I try and sleep. I cry a bit and then sleep. Because I'm so overwhelmed. I'm just like, I feel that like I was thoroughly convinced 9th December 2018 would have been my last day on this planet. And this is weird. This is strange for me, and I owe my life to very many people. This guy JJ put up a group together. I don't know how many people. And they paid for my therapy session.
And indeed, my name is Likuyani Eli. Welcome back to the Men's Den. You want to learn more and catch more about mental health and Mental Health Awareness Month on Art in Art. Do join me every single Sunday on Eli's Hangout from 9:30 p.m. East African time. That is 8:30 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Back to the gentlemen who are here with me, telling me how I have not been arranging my life in order. I will bring back Gilbert Macomeri all the way in Oklahoma, USA. Good evening once again. Good afternoon to you, in fact. And karibu sana. And James, today is too nice with his words. I think he's been measuring too much. You took the wrong lessons because today Gilbert came in a different tone. And for everybody that is joining us on the comment section, Kevin Tindi, karibu sana to the car, Skip Roda, once again, Noreen Ambata. And of course, we continue with the discussion. And we are discussing we foolishly in love, part 2 of this episode. So, James, we go back to the money factor. And the other day, or today morning, I was reading in one of the prints and I realized being rich is not an assurance anymore. What is happening? Because even the richest are still crying as they part goodbye to their love, 27 years.
Wealth will pave the way. It will not sustain the way. Wealth will open doors. It will not keep the flame burning. Yeah, especially when used not in the so correct manner, especially in the context yenye tunaangalia, the context we are looking at in this show, where men will feel the need to use, and for lack of a better word, the money, because you've brought in the aspect of wealth, where the man will feel that the money should speak for him. He will get a lot of suitors, but they're after the money. They are not after him. They're after the money. So these are the kind of men who will bring up other people's children, because the woman did not come in because she liked you. She came in because you've chopped some money. So she will stay there for you to provide, but she will go and cherry pick whatever traits she wants out there. That is number one. Number two, again, because of what Gilbert says, we are so obsessed with amassing and they are not very good at spending. The woman might come in with the best of intentions into the union, but along the way, and as responsibilities start piling up, the man feels like they need to work more out there so that to provide. And the woman and women, the greatest, how do I call it? The greatest need for a woman is affection. It's not the money, it's just affection. So you will go out there chasing paper so that you can keep your family happy, but the woman has been left cold in the house. She has all the money because you're working day and night, but she does not feel the touch. She does not feel the affection. And that is why you will find the shamba boy who you're paying is the one who is doing the other job. The shamba is limaing both shambas. And then you wonder
This
what's
is
happening. Yeah. So it's a combination of things. It's a combination of, I think as men we've just lost it. We've lost sight of what is important, even in love, because you'll find men profess and men get shattered. By the way, I wish you guys could see the men who we see in our practice every day. From the outside, they look macho and they look well put together and everything is working. But they come into a therapy session and they are broken. They are crying. They are telling you, I did all this for my family. I set up businesses. You know, all the wealth that you can imagine, only to come and find the wife is having an affair with the Shamba boy. And the two can't resonate. The man can't resonate. How? My wife and this guy, and they don't rhyme, they don't. But it's because we've lost sight of the simple thing that the woman needs. Again, to flip it even further and bring in Gilbert's aspect of men are visual. That's why we are falling for the trap. We are too busy. We are not seeing what we have inside. We are seeing what is out there. So in the course of our daily hustling, we are seeing these ladies who are wearing, and they know how to please us. Like Gilbert was saying, a woman will know how to entice you and put you into the box nambako unajifunika. So you find the man, again, with all the best intentions and with all the love for the wife, because even men who cheat will tell you they love their wives. They will tell you, I can't leave my wife for this woman. But because we are visual, we will go there and see things and start thinking with other heads that are not these heads. And before you know it, now you... Yeah. So it's a complicated... It's not money factor alone. It's a complication of several things.
Gilbert.
I think James said everything. He talked like 10 men. Yeah, that's the truth that we are forgetting early. We chase a lot and forget the family unit. One thing I've learned while I'm here, the society is rotten. The best thing people invest in here is the family unit. And that's why when the two wake up and say they don't think they can grow on together, they have grown out of love for each other. And here people don't pretend. They put it like it is. You don't see there, oh, my kids, what will the society cares? Nothing. It's about you and your family and your happiness. And here people care more about their mental health. They will not sit there and wait because their endurance levels are not like ours. They will not wait to go through shit for any reason. Even if they have 10 kids, they will move. They don't care. And that's why I told you some of these things that are normal here have started cropping up at home. And when they are happening at home, they are getting us flat foot because our society has not provided that platform to address these issues. Like I said the other time, how many psychologists are there in the field to check through people what is happening? The professionals who have gone to school don't have a platform. The government has not provided those ways for these professionals to help people. That's why, like, nowadays, like 1 or 2 or 3, 4 cases of murder is being broadcasted. And you wonder, where are our leaders? They want 50 people to be hacked at a go for them to see this is a crisis in the offing. We have a society that is dead. Their feelings are dying. Our leaders, they exist in a sphere that is not on this world. So we are not in terms with what is happening in the society. So the society has been left on its own. If you don't have the right the right fabrics, Ellie, it's up to you. You suffer alone. How many people in Kenya will be like will get the resources required to come for therapy to James?
That's why we are here. That's why we are here to give men those therapy and stop acting foolishly.
Ellie, how many people can even afford to get internet to watch us? How many? And those who choose to watch us, they are not entitled to disseminate the same information to those who are in the society. And if you do, the society will tell you, did we send us to go and bring us that information? In Africa, have you reached a point where you have now outgrown being a kid, you have grown into a man, but still you can't advise your father? The father still looks at you, what is this boy telling me? See, that is the African. That's why we miss out. Because with even the experience I've gone through, it will take me like a century to sit down my father and tell him what you are doing is wrong, and him to accept I'm doing it right. But do you know I'll be employed to deal with more than 1,000, more than 10,000, more than 1 million people, and they will believe in what I'm telling them. But your own people cannot believe in what you're telling. James can handle anyone in Kenya. But do you know, James goes at home and sits down people you want to cancel them. If it all go to hell. Go to hell. What are you saying? Oh, what is this boy trying? You know, the old people, what is this boy trying to tell us? You see, that mind, we need to dismantle it. Just know, these are things that are happening in our society. They are not right. They are not bad. It depends with the way we check them. But you see the results. We are not ready to handle the results. We are ready to handle what is happening. But the result that comes with it, we are not ready. And that's where the problem comes. And eventually you start seeing kids that call themselves fatherless. Our mothers are training us to say so. How do you wake up being raised and you are proclaiming you're a fatherless kid?
You are just a miracle like Jesus, you never know.
Yeah, how will that kid grow up being with a father-like mind, knowing very well he was fatherless? So
because the father was foolish enough to go jumping all over.
Yeah, he misses out on the father aspect. When he grows and becomes a father, he doesn't know how to become one. And the society will not understand. He doesn't know. It will not be easy for him.
Again, but hold on that thought. Let's get back to the comment section so that we come with some conclusive remarks after this. I start all the way down. Gaddafi says, Art in Heart, this issue of love can make you neglect your own self because you are busy loving someone, which is not going to add up at the end. And you even stop pampering yourself because of love. And of course, that is very true to some extent. Let's keep rolling. There is something called building each other. Who said only men can go look for money? You meet each other halfway, 50-50. Then Noreen says, there's more to life than money. That's what men don't understand. Wow. Okay, fine. Gilbert will be very happy to listen to that. On the other end, Zikita says, money is good, but have men's attention and affection is better. It's a whole package. People are looking for package. But I hope the last time they were singing, no romance without finance. You gotta have a J-O-B if you wanna be with him. Okay, let me stay with Kimani. That wake up early and night I'm Django than chasing someone who has money and no affection. Okay, did you understand that part? You rather stay with that Kimani guy who goes work hard, and bring in something and has affection than that guy who has so much money available with no affection. And we stop it at that for the moment. So, gentlemen, you have made a lot of remarks about the whole issue. And for those who have been following, you can refer to the previous show that we did And that's where this conversation started and where it's heading. And I told all of you it will end up with the money factor. And now most of you tend to agree with me. However, Gilbert, what would you do in an instance that you wake up one morning and notice you've been grazing the cow and somebody else has been milking, just like the Shambabo?
My personal experience will be personal, based on how I have grown up reacting to issues. Many men, it will fall to them in a different way. But me, I look at that kid who is innocent, who doesn't, who never invited himself in this whole fiasco. That will be my center point. I might not be happy with what happened. I might never trust again the woman I'm living with. But the kid, because it's a very dangerous situation for that kid growing up. Because that information, how do you imagine someone you have known, this is your father, then you wake up, you're being told, no, this is not your father. Your father is someone else. They need to be told the truth. They need to be nurtured in that truth. That one day, they might want to go look for their real dad. And that is the truth that I will live telling myself. I will do the same way. Ellie, I can just wake up today and pay school fees for an orphan who is not able, or someone somewhere whom I don't know, or even I know. That's what I can do still with this kid in this house, because they are innocent. But you see now, the woman in the picture here is the problem.
What if you love the woman, James? What do you do?
You love the woman, but the sense of betrayal. Again, remember, there are some tenets of love. Yeah, love is not all blind. There's some things that can happen and they shatter that love. For example, if you find that you've been raising a child who is not yours, while you might have been very in love with this woman, the sense of betrayal and the ego that I talked about earlier will shatter that love. Yeah. In this instance, I would want to agree with Makomere that the responsible thing to do, again, that your relationship with this woman changes completely. Whether you will stay on together or you will part ways, it changes completely. But what I usually advise is the child should always win. Because remember, the child is innocent. In this, your two fights, the child is innocent. So whatever actions that both parties take, and this is where I usually call for a lot of maturity, because I've seen either party, either the man wants to hurt the woman through the child, or the woman wants to hurt the man through the child. So we start playing silly games, and we end up confusing and hurting the child more. I usually tell people, where a child is involved, the child should always win, because they have no blame in all this. Yeah. And it calls for a lot of maturity and a lot of accepting responsibility. Yes, we've messed, or I have messed. We need to take care of this. I might never trust you again. How best can we take care of this child that is in the picture? If you need to part, and I agree with, again, Gilbert, that in the Western world, they do not have this facade of we are in love, or we have stayed for so many years, so we have known each other. No. You're not compatible at whatever point. You're not compatible, and you accept the facts. Because today in Africa, in Kenya, for example, a lot of marriages are partners are living together, but they're not together. They just put on a show. They wake up in the morning, once immediately they're out of the door, they hold hands. But once they are back, they are not talking to each other. Yeah, we know marriages that are dead, but for public show, we have to stick together. Yeah. And that's why, again, we see mushrooming of these lodges and out of town excursions, because people are not happy in the house. So you will put on a show and pretend you are happily married, but you're always looking forward to the weekend so that you can go for these business trips. And that's where now you go and meet whoever pleases you. Yeah. So I think there is no one right way. There is no one right way to handle this, except the child should always win.
Yeah, the child should always win, because if we don't, like, we are looking at a society we are raising. The fact that we have mess, or the fact that we are living in a mess, does not warrant this kid to be raised in a mess to become a mess. Because that will be, we are passing on the hurdle of this madness into the next generation. I don't advocate in these things of shaming each other in news and everywhere, because there are different ways of settling issues. I don't see why someone should go into news and social media to remember this is the fathers to these kids. Internet never forgets. One time you'll meet this thing on the internet, you never know it will be when. Ask yourself, will the kid be comfortable with that truth at that time? So it might seem as a good thing to us, James. But what about these kids? What about their perception towards their dad? Because if, imagine, James, you wake up today and your wife has poisoned your kids again. You saw the clip of the other guy who unfortunately I heard he committed suicide or something of the sort.
Remind me.
In the sitting room, and the woman is preparing the kids to go to school, and the woman is accusing the man, and the kids are even...
I saw that clip. I saw it.
Their kids are even calling their mother is a thief.
Mm-hmm.
And you imagine now, which society are we raising? Because kids adjust to the environment. Imagine a society where a kid grew up knowing my mother is a witch, my mother is a thief, my father is a witch, my father is a thief, my father is everything. So they grew up knowing this is my father. They grew up with some pain. This thing will not leave them when they grow up.
And that's where, Gilbert, that's where you find that they develop delinquent behaviors very early on. Yeah. Because of such ingraining, they have been fed hatred against one partner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, I usually say, when you're making this child, most likely you're very in love. So when you fall in love, why should this child suffer? Because the two of you have fallen apart. Yeah. So I will always say, fight fair. The child should always win. Go ahead and get other partners, but protect your child. Both parties should protect their child. And another thing that's always in contention is custody, because we feel that whoever has custody of the child has the upper hand. It should not be. In fact, I usually encourage, if you have to go that route, have equal, as long as both parents can be mature about it, have equal rights. Let the child stay this weekend is he or she is with one parent, the other weekend is with the other. The child, when we put the child in one home, it's like we are forcing them to choose one parent over the other, which is not fair on them.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we had a great discussion, and unfortunately we have to close the curtains, but I hope this conversation continues in the social media space and we continue having this discussion, because it is important to have these discussions. Thank you so much, Kipro, for sharing with us tonight. You are okay. I don't know what is happening over here. Trolling someone you had a relationship with on social media is so childish and a no-go. Kids will be the ones to suffer at the end, and I do agree with that. But there's somebody who has different perspective about love. And you know, Wycliffe is always on the shooting end. He says, to avoid being in deep pain of love, we should just avoid loving too much, because if we do, you might be blinded to see what's not right, and your reasoning as well might be clouded and start pouring too much of yourself as expected. Let's be moderate. Great conclusion over there. Zena, karibu sana, a little bit late, but it's okay. It happens. So, gentlemen, let's call it close down. And your final remarks as we finish this second episode of Foolishly in Love. What do you want to tell the gentlemen in the building and equally the ladies, starting with you, Gilbert?
It doesn't need to be murky. Let's be wary of our society. We don't need to do everything that the society offers. Choose wisely what is right for you. Don't go in foolishly. Go in with your brains, because the results are always on our shoulders. Ask yourself, are you able to bear the results of anything you are doing? Are the consequences right with you? If they are right with you, if you're okay with it, do it. It's your life. But always know, there are other people who depend on you, who depend on the decisions you make, your job, your salary, and everything. They are very important than those people who are praising you, those friends who want to call you the chairman names so that you appear to be good to them. Your family is very important. Thank you.
To just again, Gilbert has said some or almost all that I had to say, but just to add on to it. Number one, and nowadays it's to both men and women. Differentiate whether what you feel or what you think is love is actually love or lust, because nowadays again we are confusing the two. We lust over someone and we think we are in love, and it gets murky from there. So differentiate the two. Number two, communicate. Love without communication is no love. Yeah. And if it is one-sided communication, then there is a problem. So if you realize that you're the one who is always initiating these conversations, and there is very one-liners, feedbacks, or no comments back, there might be a problem. What am I saying? Do not dip your feet first before you take the dive. Yeah, just test the waters first. And lastly, again, to agree with what Gilbert says, at times we might fall genuinely in love, but ultimately, as we down the road somewhere, we realize that we are not compatible. Let's protect the products of that union, and also let's respect each other enough to know when to call it quits, and call it quits in a fair manner.
Respect the products of the relationship and know when to call it quits. For the moment, I still want to encourage you. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. Just know when to call a quit. My name is Lukuyani Eli, and of course, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show. James Mwathi, all the way in Nairobi, Kenya, and Gilbert Makomere, Oklahoma, USA. Thank you so much, sir, for making time. As always, your wisdom is oozing. Remember to follow the conversation on Art in Heart on YouTube, and of course, that is equally on our social media handles, the Arts in Heart in Instagram and the Arts_in_Heart on Instagram. And my name is Lukuyani Eli on Facebook. Remember, we equally have this and other programs every single Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 9:30 p.m. Central European Time. 9:30 p.m. East African Time, and that is 8:30 p.m. Central European Summer Time. So see you next time. I leave you with one number from the boys. Remember, uulize kiatu, because wanaume ile mambo wanapitia ni kiatu inajua. Have a good night. My name again is Lukuyani Eli.